All of us here at St. John's hope that you and your families and your extended circle are all kind of settling back into the fall. School is starting, programs are starting, and we're all kind of getting back into that rhythm of our regular schedules. And as we've talked about frequently on these videos, during that green season, the long season after Pentecost, between the Feast of Pentecost and the beginning of Advent, that the green season goes through these kind of periods or groupings of thematically related readings. And we've had several of these already over the summer, and now as we get into the fall, we're going to have several readings that have to do with Christ making healing, or these healing stories from the Gospels. And we start off, our first one this week is the beautiful and intimate healing story of Jesus and the Canaanite woman. And it's all wrapped around this idea of mercy. So first we'll hear about mercy in Paul's letter to the Romans, where he's saying that God does not abandon his people. God did not abandon the Israelites. God has continued to show mercy to these people throughout history and continues to bring us all into this fold of God's family. And then, of course, this is mirrored very closely with the gospel narrative, where a woman who might feel that she is out of the in crowd of Jesus's followers is shown mercy for her healing. And so all of what we'll be talking about throughout the Sunday will be praising God for God's mercy, experiencing God's mercy in our life, and then sharing that mercy with all of those around us. It will also be the capstone this Sunday of a special weekend for us in the music department, because we are having our choir camp. And so we'll be spending Friday and Saturday with some of our young musicians in the parish and having a lot of great experiences with them. And we will have all of our campers singing on Sunday morning. So that will be a sort of an added little bit of mercy or maybe grace that will happen during the service. But we will start the service off singing one of the great hymns that talk about God's mercy and God's shepherding and watching over us. Praise my soul, the King of heaven. Rousing way to start the service, and I invite you to really pay special attention to the text of all 4 verses, and as it sets the mood and sets our hearts to think about the mercy that God has shown us. At the sequence hymn, that hymn that hinges between the Romans passage and the gospel passage, we'll be singing one of the most delightful tunes and wonderful texts in our hymnal. In your mercy, Lord, you called me, taught my sin-filled heart and mind. Again, talking about how we have been given grace in the person of Jesus Christ, and it's set to this very elegant English Baroque tune. And then I mentioned that we have a lot of campers that will be singing with us. At the beginning of communion, all of our campers will be singing a delightful setting of the familiar words of Fairest Lord Jesus, ruler of all nature, you are of God and earth the Son. And this is a setting that was written for children by the New York-based composer Calvin Hampton. He was at Calvary Episcopal Church near Gramercy Square, and wrote a lot of beautiful melodies, including this very evocative setting of those familiar words. We'll also be following that with another hymn that Calvin Hampton wrote, There is a Wideness in God's Mercy. So a little bit of a musical tie-in, but then also reiterating that theme all throughout the morning. So we hope that you will join us as we experience God's mercy here at St. John's Cathedral this weekend.